Okay, you guys, so welcome back to my channel. My name is Ariel. I do all things professionalism. I run nursing homes. I am also doing nursing as well. I want to go over some of the nursing material for the new nurses, for nursing skills and concepts, the fundamentals, as well as the workbook. So if you do not know, typically what happens is, whenever you are doing the fundamentals, you would then compare that and do it with the workbook as well as your ATI and so forth. I know sometimes instructors, they can be not as informative sometimes. So let's just read the laws and ethics of nursing, okay? And this is something you're going to have to learn and you're going to be doing in nursing. So I know a lot of people, they don't like to read, so I'll be like your little audio book for this chapter, okay? Just to give you guys some insight, and then we can work on the workbook as well. So, laws and ethics. The introduction. Laws and ethics, clients' rights and nursing duties affect nursing regulatory throughout their careers. These chapters introduce basic legal and ethical concepts and issues that affect the practice of nursing. Laws. Laws, rules of conduct established and enforced by the government, are intended to protect both the general public and each person. The six characteristics of laws are constitutional, statutory, administrative, common, criminal, and civil. Table 3-1. The constitutional law. The founders of the United States wrote the country's first formal laws within the Constitution. This document, which has endured with amendments, divides power among three branches of government, is established checks and balances to protect the entire nation from any one entity gaining too much power. It also identifies the rights of privileges to which all U.S. citizens are entitled. Two examples of rights protected by the constitutional law are free speech and privacy. Okay, you guys. Statutory laws. Statutory laws are laws that enticed by federal, state, or local legislators, are sometimes identified as public acts, codes, or ordinances. For example, state legislatures are responsible for enacting statuses that ensure the concept of health care providers. A Nurse Practice Act statute that legally defines the unique role of a nurse and differentiates it from of other healthcare providers such as physicians is one example of statutory law. Although each state nurse practice has its own unique, all generally contain common elements. They define the scope of nursing practice. They establish the limits to the practice. They identify titles that the nurses may use, such as licensed practical nurse, LPN, licensed vocational nurse, LVN, or registered nurse, RN. They authorize a board of nursing to oversee nursing practices. They determine what constitutes ground for disciplinary action. The practice of nursing means to perform a service provided for purpose of nursing diagnosis and treatment of human responses to actual or potential health problems, consistent with educational preparation. Knowledge and skills are the basis of assessment, analyzing, planning, intervention, and evaluation. Used in the promotion and maintenance of health in nursing, management of illness, injury, infertility, restoration of optional functioning, or death with dignity. Practice is based on understanding the human condition across the human lifespan and understanding the relationship individual with the government. This practice includes execution of the medical region, including the administration of medications and treatments prescribed by any person authorized by the state of law so be prescribed. Administrative laws. Administrative laws, legal provision through which federal, state, and local agencies maintain self-regulation affect the power to maintain government agencies. Some administrative laws authorize federal and state governments to ensure citizen health and safety. State boards of nursing. The State Board of Nursing is an example of administrative agency that enforces administrative law. Each state board of nursing regulatory agency for managing the provision of a state's Nurse Act as a primary responsibility to protect the public receiving nursing care within that state. Some activities of the state's board of nursing include reviewing and approving nursing education programs in the state. 2, establishing criteria for licensing nurses. 3, overseeing procedures for nurse and licensing examination. 4, issuing and transferring nursing licenses. 5, investigating allegations against nurse licensed in that state. 6, disciplining nurses who violate legal ethical standards. I don't know if you guys heard that one, but my phone was going to go dead. But 6, disciplining nurses who violate legal and ethical standards. The state's board of nursing is responsible for suspending, revoking license, and reviewing applications asking to review. A license in one of the state does not give a person the right to automatically license in another state, okay? Nurse licensure compacts. Several states have intact nurse licensure compacts agreements between states in which a nurse is licensed. One state can protect another without obtaining any additional license under agreement of the nurse. Acknowledgement that he or she is subjected to each state's nursing practice at the discipline advantage, including. So that means if you transfer your license from one state to another, you have to abide by that state licensing rule. So one state may say, okay, you can, for LPN, you can run IV, but one state may say you cannot. I'm just using that as an example of what that means, okay? So simplify the licensing process and remove barriers, thus including and increasing employment and access to nursing care. Is more cost effective than multiple licensing fees, decreases barriers for nurses who live in the state and want to work in another nearby. Reduce the need to duplicate listings of nurses working in more than one state for disaster planning and preparation, or during other times of need for qualified nursing services. So, you guys, it's very important to read your fundamental books, and this is for the state of Illinois, okay? And you're going to compare that with your workbook and then do that software. So I want you guys to comment what areas are you having trouble in when it comes to the nursing schoolwork that you are doing. Let's talk about it. Let's create a community and let's push through this together. Okay? Like and subscribe.